Hello guys, welcome to the Trucking Diaries. We are going to have us a short day today. Got our 6-pack of Mountain Dew. We ought to be good to go. And before we go, we're going to have to put some air in that tire. These are a lifesaver. There's this whole tire up and ready to go. Well, I had a question come up on in my comments about setting up getting an SWR set up right on the CB, which is more or less, if you were to compare it to something automotive, it'd be like setting a carburetor, getting the right air fuel mixture on it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm an expert by any means. I grew up around them. My grandpa was a ham radio operator. Had amateur radio license. My dad had his amateur radio license. Been playing on them since I was in diapers. So I do have a little background with them, and I spent a lot of time hanging around in the CB shop, several years ago. But I'm not going to claim to be a master technician on the CB. I ain't no Mudduck in the desert. Yeah. We ain't talking about them window lickers. No, we ain't doing all that. So, to start with explaining SWRs, I had to look up what does SWRs, the initials or whatever you want to put it, stand for. It is standing wave ratio. What's that mean? Well, I couldn't really tell you the head-on definition. I do know, it dramatically affects the life of a radio. It was once explained to me by a buddy of mine that ran a CB shop down in Arkansas. That's kind of like setting the air fuel mixture on a carburetor. On a number spectrum, you really want about a 1.2 to a 1.5 to be like in the prime range. Between 1 and 2, 1 is really on the low side, and you definitely don't want it above a 2. So two things that can really affect your SWRs is your coax length and your antenna. I don't run the factory coax in these Western Stars. Matter of fact, you guys notice I got my CB on the dash. They come factory up here. Maybe not in the flat tops, I don't know, but I know factory in these Stratosphere trucks, they come up here. I move mine down on the dash, not because it changes anything on the SWRs or anything like that, with whether it's up there or down there. But these upper consoles and these Western Stars are junk. This one is probably a lot beefier than what you're going to get stock, because I pulled this out of the truck. It is extremely beefed up on the inside. You guys can see I got a little more done up here than what would be factory in a Western Star. That has no effect, but coax, it does. The factory coax in these Western Stars they have a splitter box on it. One coax is going to be used for, well, really, I don't know what's inside the splitter box, to be honest with you. But I do know that your stereo, AM, FM, has a junctions into that box, and your CB junctions into that box. I always had issues with SWR readings whenever I was using that box. Now, I've always been told to go in on your coax, go buy them in increments of 3 foot. I've always been told, my grandpa told me this, multiple CB shops, 18-foot coax is ideal. You still got your 3 foot increments. You know, you can just buy them 18 foot, and for whatever reason, I've always been told that is the ideal length. Don't know why, but that's just what I've been told. Now, on the antennas, when you buy your fiberglass antenna, if that's what you run, I'm currently running a Francis Hot Rod CB antenna, 4 foot. So when you buy if you're going to buy a fiberglass antenna, you want to see what coax length it is tuned to, because most of your fiberglass antennas are going to be pre-tuned for a certain length coax. So you want to make sure your coax length matches your antenna. Like say a Wilson or something with a steel whip that's removable, you trim that whip up. You can't extend it obviously, but you can trim that whip up. They're usually too long, so you trim that whip up to get it into the ideal length. Another thing I will add, like on these Cobras, you know, they got an SWR meter and all that built into it. You can calibrate the SWR meter, and you might be able to calibrate it, get it in the number that you want it. I'm going to tell you that means nothing. All that does is it's adjusting the meter. That's not truly adjusting the SWRs for the radio. I was, when I was young, you know, first started driving and all that, I thought you could adjust that and set it up for the perfect SWR, and boy did I get a butt chewing the first time I said something to a CB shop about that. And any good CB shop will tell you you need an SWR meter to get a proper reading. Now in theory, once you have your SWRs set, like I said, your SWRs are controlled by your antenna and your coax. In theory, once they are set, you should be able to switch CBs out with no issue. But I am going to say it never hurts to double check it. I've been told it's safe to just, you know, change out CBs. I mean, my dash was a revolving door at one point in Snowball with CBs, because I think I got 7 or 8 at home, and almost every one of them I've used in some extent, whether in a semi-truck or in personal vehicle. I have somehow or another used them in just about some aspect or another. So in theory it should be a revolving door, but it never hurts to have it double checked on a real SWR meter. I'll show you real quick. This is coax I use. It's a Wilson, I don't remember the proper actual name of it, but it's a Wilson coax. So we're just using a Cobra right now. And Francis 4 foot antenna. Now my advice is, I mean, if the question is Western Star 4900 specific, and your bracket's got factory holes in them, and run the coax down through the wire to the mirror, it's kind of a pain in the butt. That's why I buy the coax with the removable end, so you can run it down through the door. You put it down in between the door and the frame of the truck, or the door frame, you're going to create yourself some issues. You're pinching your wire off. I mean, it's like a garden hose. Pinch it off, you're going to create restriction in the coax. So my advice is not to run it through the door if you don't have to. Like I said before, I run 18-foot coax. That's what I've always been told to do. So it's going to come through your door right here. It's going to run up, and I coil it and I stick it up underneath here. If you run your CB up top, you can do the same in the top, but since I put my CB down on the dash, it's easier just to coil it up underneath here. Now, something else you might want to think about with the 4900 Western Star and their coax and CB antennas and all that. The doors, they're not very well grounded. I've been recommended several times to run a ground from the antenna to the frame, but I've never done it. But something I have ran into issues with before is right here. There is like a plastic bushing that goes down into the mirror bracket itself, and it works as an insulator, and it keeps it from vibrating out and all that. So I thought before we close this video out, because it's actually kind of dragged out, the original question was, about SWRs on a 4900 Western Star, because like I said, factory coax and all that's junk. But if you want to check your SWR, and I may mention to you the SWR meter for, this is one I have. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you that I'm a CB expert. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One in Rockies, so that's 9. 2 in, well, one's mine in Fireball, that's 9. Plus a handheld CB, so that makes 10. I'm trying to think if I got any more laying around anywhere, but I hope that kind of answers some basic questions. I recommend, get that light out of your face, I recommend going and visiting a CB shop. If it's not something you're 100% familiar with, I'm not 100% familiar with, but I understand basics. But if you absolutely need help, go to a CB shop. I know it costs money, but sometimes they'll put you on the right path and they can help you the right way. So until next time, y'all stay safe out there. God bless you. And get them SWRs tuned.